Recording is on.
Okay, hello. Let's continue. I think in the last class we stopped at this was the last exercise I was done. That was data validation. We were able to show how you can implement data validation in any column of your choice, such that users of your sheet or you yourself that is using the file or whoever that is going to do data imputation we need to or be forced to enter the correct data type, like making sure that somebody did not enter text in a numerical column. Or in a numerical column, you need only positive whole numbers ranging from a particular point to another point. So anything outside that range or not positive whole numbers, it will reject it. So that was what we were able to complete in the last class. So next topic we have here is aggregation. Aggregation and start that is aggregate and arithmetic operation. I know most of these things, of course, we have used some of them, but we just want to make sure we don't jump anything. And like I always say, a number of person is already familiar with all of this. But for the purpose of carrying total beginners, that is complete beginners along. So we don't want to jump any A or B, no matter how it seems simple. So we want to continue with aggregate and arithmetic operations. So in this lesson, we want to understand the order of operations, which is in the that is in a short form of it. We call it PEDMAS in Excel. Now, want to see how to use the aggregate function like average, sum, min, max, count to summarize data. Apply function with cell ranges, column reference, structured table references, and all that. So now, order of operations, that is the types of operation you may have, that is mathematical operation you may have in Excel, are stuff like subtraction, which S stands for subtraction, A stands for addition, M stands for multiplication, D stands for division, E stands for exponent, and P stands for parentheses. In primary school in those days, we normally board maths. This is more of like applying the same thing you use in board maths. But in this, okay, we are putting exponents into consideration. So we no longer talk about board mass, but paired mass. So now, what this order is simply saying is that the order of operation in Excel begins, it will first of all consider the parentheses, consider the division, multiplication, and then before it will now operate with the subtraction. So this is the PEDMAS rule. So first of all, the parentheses will be taken care of like we have here. In this 2 plus 3, what will be done first? Okay, let's say in this 2.3 inside bracket and then times 4. The first thing done is that what is inside the parentheses will be taken care of, which is 2 plus 3. So once that is done, that is by 4, because that is the only thing available here. So you have 2 plus 3, 5, 5 times 4, 20. Now, after parentheses, the next, when you have, this is simply saying when we have a combination of all of these operations, you have combination of subtraction, addition, multiplication, division, exponent, parentheses. This is the order with which Excel will operate on each of them. So you need to understand this order for you to be able to, apply some formula. There are some formula that after applying, you think that you have done the correct thing. But simply because you not put your parentheses in the right place or your division in the right place, you end up getting the wrong answer and you think, oh yes, I've inserted the formula, whereas it's another thing you inserted. So that's why it's important to understand this rule. So after exponent, of course, when we talk of exponent, we are talking about anything that has to do with raised power 2, raised power 3. In Excel, we use this kind of thing to indicate raised power. So 2 raised power 3, what we do. Then after exponent, we have division. So after division, multiplication will be taken care of. Multiplication will be taken care of and then followed by addition and then subtraction. Simply going from left to right. That is division, multiplication, addition, and subtraction are done from left to right when they appear together without parentheses. Otherwise, if they do what is you apply the parentheses first, is that okay? Then and then check if there is exponent, operate on the exponent, and then from there multiplication, and then division, multiplication, addition, and subtraction. So for example, now we have in this expression 20 raised to power 2 plus 10 divided by 2 raised to power, sorry, I said 20 raised by 2, 20 times 2 plus 10 divided by 2 times 4 minus 20. So it will check if there is any parentheses and there is none. And if you check for exponent, is not used. And check for multiplication and division. So first of all is the so paired mass. So if you check for division first, is that okay? So like in this 10 divided by 2 will be taken care of. And when it's taken care of, you have 5. And then the next is what? Multiplication. Now you now have that 5 times what? 4. 5 times 4 is now 20. And then this multiplication also will be taken care of 20 times 2, which is 40. Then the addition will now be taken care of. So this 40 will now be added to the result you got in this place, which was 20. So 40 plus 20, that is 60. Then minus this 20, and then you are left with 40. So the subtraction, which is the last S in peg mass, is usually the last to be operated. So that is how we the rule. Okay. Now, um, so arithmetic in Excel. Excel uses the paired mass rule just like manual calculation, but also incorporate reference operators like this column for ranges. Remember, we have been using it. This is the ampersand used for concatenation. This is used for negation. Negation is simply when something is true, if you negate it, it will become false. So negation is simply opposite of what you have. If you have a Boolean value that is true, Boolean is simply a data type that have only two values, which is either true or false. So if you have true and you have negation, it will end up becoming false. If you have false, you negate it, it become true. Then we have the logical operator, that is the logical operations, logical comparisons, equal, greater, and less than. So most calculation in Excel starts with the equal symbol, which we have been doing all the while. Now, introduction to functions in Excel. Functions, like I've said before, are the built-in formulas. Formulas are simply what you have been doing, like for instance, in one of the exercise, we said price minus cost, selling price minus cost. So by the time you say selling price minus cost, in order for you to get profit, what you did here is a formula. You inserted a formula. But if you now have something like sum, okay, let me use 2 plus 3 instead. Let's say there is 2 in cell A, A1, and then there is 3 in cell B1. Oh, let me open an empty Excel sheet and clearly demonstrate what I'm talking about. So I have here 2 in A1 and in B2, B1 I have 3. Now I want to add the value of 2 and 3. I can simply say equal to, remember I said earlier that when you want to enter formula or function, you tell Excel that what I want to put now is formula or function by using equal sign. So the formula here is saying 2 plus 2 plus what is in B2. I click on it. So I'm simply saying A1 plus what? B1. What is in A1 is 2 and what is in B1 is what? 3. If I click enter, I will get 5. Now, this what I did now is formula. I added cell A1, what is in cell A1 uh, with what is in cell B1. I can decide to now use Excel built-in formula. So that built-in formula is what is now called function. So functions are simply, they are something as formulas, but they are already in Excel. You don't need to define them by yourself. You don't need to say this plus this times this or divide by this and whatever. All you need is to call it by its name. So this addition we did now in Excel is sum that we have been using all the while. So if you say sum, SUM, and then click. Sorry, let me maximize my screen. So I click this and I select this A1 and maybe I use command to separate it and select A2. Or I can decide to select it as a range from A1 to A2. It's okay. I'm sorry, from A1 to B1 rather. So if I click enter, it is still giving me the same 5 addition. So here we use formula and here we use what? Function. That's what we're trying to say. So there are many Excel functions and they are categorized under the following subheadings. We have math and trigonometry function. This is just few example of math function. There are more to this. Likewise, trigonometry function. So sum is a math function, round, product, and all that. Now, statistical function, we have average, count, minimum, maximum. So average gives you the mean value of a range. That is range of values to give you the mean value. We have done mean before. I'll talk about what mean is. And then count, we count how many rows you have in your range. Minimum is giving you the minimum value, while max is giving you a maximum value in a range. Now, we also have logical function, the if and or, the if and or, they are all logical functions. There are more to this. And we have a text function, that is a function that is used for manipulating text. We have the left, right, we have the len. Len is simply length. So we want to extract the length of the text. So we still see some of this one after the other, but not necessarily all of them. Then we have date and time functions. The date and time function, they are functions that are used for manipulating dates in Excel. So we have today, we have now, we have date, dated if. So all these are different Excel functions. Like today, it's going to give you the date for today, and then now, date for now, and like date and time, and all that. Now, so these are the different categories of functions. There are more to this. There are many of them. I mean, in fact, let me show you something. And you can never finish learning all of them. For instance, if I go to formulas, I come here, I will see, okay, here will show me recently used formula. I've used some, I've used average, I've used if, hyperlink, count, mark, sum, some if, so on and so forth. Now, here is just auto sum. I want to use auto sum. But now, we have financial functions. You can see them. Plenty. If you scroll down, you will see plenty of them. So all these ones, they are used in finance. There are many of them to calculate things that are related to financial reports or records. Now we have the logical function, which we have stated a few of them, and, false, if, error, if now, not, and so on and so forth. We have the text function, there are many of them. But we'll not be doing all of them, we're doing the one that we need most in our data analysis work. We have the date and time function. You can see date, date value, we have date, days, days, 360, date, and whatever. Many of them. Now, we have the lookup and reference function. Address, areas, choose, formula text, H lookup, hyperlink index, indirect lookup, and so on and so forth. So a number of them is there, like we click on and we have the view lookup. Now take note, this is Office 2021, that is Excel. The version of my office is Office 2021. I know in one of the classes I was saying that if you have 2016 or 2019, you should upgrade to 2021 or above. But recently, like today in the morning, I was having a data analysis class. I I wanted to teach X lookup that I've been teaching with 2021. I noticed that X lookup is no longer available in 2021. So if you have been connecting online and your office does any update at the moment, you discover that X lookup will disappear from your 2021. So if you can see, as you can see, there's no X lookup in this place. So if you have anything 2021 below, I will encourage you to just go straight forward and install SZ365, of which I will still create time to do that. But otherwise, in some of these lessons we'll be doing, you will find it difficult in doing, that is, executing some of those four functions. We have math and trig, absolute function, a cos, a cos, a sine, base, combine, combinand, cos, and so on and so forth. Many of them. So these are all under math and trigonometry. We have more functions. If you come here, you see the one that is for statistics, plenty of them, too many. We have the inform one for engineering, for those that are engineers or engineering students. They are the one that would understand all of these jargons. We have the cube, is our cube. The information, is are the compatibility, and then we web, and so on and so forth. So these are the different categories of functions in Excel. So, but you cannot start, learning all of them at a go. You need to just focus on the ones that are most useful to you as a data analyst or for the entry level role in data analysis. I want to close this particular workbook. And I don't think I may need it. So I want to finish the whole of this 77 remaining 70 pages in this 77 pages. I want to see how far we can go. Now, what are aggregate functions? Now, aggregate functions are used to summarize group of values into single output. You have like 10 different values and you add all of them, you get total. That is an aggregate. Average, if you take average of each, is an aggregate. Is that okay? You take minimum, you are looking for the smallest. You take maximum, you're looking for the biggest. Count, you are counting how many you have in that range. So these are the aggregate functions we have. And then we have, for instance, let's say you're a lecturer and want to analyze student test score. The data range of student test score is from B2 to B11. That is, the scores are contained from B2 to B11. That is 10 test scores. You can calculate the average, which we have been using this average, equal to average B2 to B11. We don't just want to, we don't want to jump anything. That's why we are still following exactly what is in data count. And this returns the mean score. So, like I said before, average simply means mean. So it returns the mean score. So, and the results might be something like 74.2 for average score of 10 students. Now, alternative ways to reference is you don't need to say B2 to B11. Let's say you want to select the whole column, you just say B to B. So you are saying select everything in B, not a particular subset of what is in column B. So you just say average B to B. So you are simply saying you should select the whole column and take the average of it. But here, B2 to B11, it might be up to B30, but you just want B2 to B11. And it can be maybe it entered in B11. So but we are just saying that this is when you want a particular range, while this is when you want the whole column, B to B. Now, structured table column, that is when your data is in table format. So you'll be having something like the table name and then the name of that column, like test score, if test score is the name of the column. So we have more aggregate function with the same range. We have the minimum score, which takes in the range and gives you the minimum. Maximum score takes in the maximum, like I said. Total score, it takes in the range and gives you the total, that is sums up everything. So this function helps you understand performance distribution at a glance. So you can look at this summary table and just a refresher of what we have said so far. So want to dive into the few exercises we have here. Summarizing sales using aggregate function. Summarizing sales using aggregate function. So want to implement those aggregate function in one of our exercise workbook. So this particular workbook, so what we want to be doing in this exercise is use aggregate function, format values as currency, which we have done before, calculate profit related metrics like profit margin. Now we're working first of all with the two for summarizing sales data. So remember the workbook zip file that I sent yesterday, the link. So I believe you must have downloaded it and extracted all of this. So we're working with summarizing sales. Now, This is our summarizing sales data. So we want to navigate to a new summary section starting from cell S2 and input the following labels. So I want to copy these labels so that, you know, computer makes us lazy and you be lazy. Some laziness are important in order to be efficient. So we need to be typing it one after the other, and then all I need is to just copy and put. So in this cell S2, S3, S4, S5, S6, S7, I want to give these descriptions to them. So let me just copy this. Mm, it will not be easy, sharp. Not be easy copying it because, okay, let's do it this way. I copy this. What I want is to put it in cell S2. But the problem now will be how is going to, oh, how is going to work with our table. Okay, there's an error in that instruction. It's supposed to be R, not X, because the header here ended with R. So what he gave us, he told us S. So we're going to be putting it in R, but S down. Okay, let's just continue with S. See how it goes. Now, if I come here and paste, oh, it's not giving me what I want. It's not giving me what I want. Okay, in that case, we'll stress ourselves doing it one after the other. So let me just come here and say, let me call this one, let me call this one lowest price. In fact, let me put it in R. So you can see that feature we saw in about a Z table, that it expands dynamically. It expands dynamically. So lowest item price, and then I have a highest item price. I don't want to copy all those quotation. I don't need the quotation mark. So I put this one inside here, and the next average price, sorry, average price, I put it inside here, and I have total sales. Let me go from here. I have total sales. I put it here, and I have total profits. Total profits, and I put it here, and I have a profit margin ratio. Profit margin ratio, and I put it here, and that is all at the moment, if I'm not mistaken. So this will help organize your calculation and make your worksheet easier to understand. So what do we want to do? Only by the name we should have understood what we are trying to do here. We want to get the lowest item price. That's the price of the lowest item. That's the price of the, let's say, cheapest item. Let's call it that way. Then we have to see, want to also see the highest item price using, so from that lowest in the case we are using minimum, highest in the case we are using maximum, average item price in the case we are using average function, total sales in the case we are using sum, total profit in the case that we're going to do some mathematics, that is at
Sir,
distance. That is
hello, sir.
okay. I'm hearing
I
you.
can't see your screen. Everything is black. It's dark.
Dark. Um, Is it peculiar to you, or is there another person having the same issue? Thank God. What about you? Hello, thank God. Um,
Blank. I think that's peculiar with him.
okay, you are seeing it well.
Yeah, he's open.
Okay. Much more. I think you need to check your network, or maybe
Let
if
me
you
log in.
can log out and log in again. Okay. Let's just wait few seconds for him. Okay. Is it okay now? Hello.
Yeah, I'm back. The
Okay.
the the screen is not.
Is it okay now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. That's good. Now, so first of all, we want to aggregate, calculate, that we want to do some of those aggregation we just created. So now, in column T, but this time around in column X, so we want to use mean function to get the item price. So I come into, let me drag this so that, oh, so inside this place, so I want to get the lowest item price. So what I need, I say equal to minimum. I select minimum. Yeah, okay. And where is my item price? Oh, so I'm even, okay. I did not even start from the, let me cut this. Let me cut it. Let me cut it and then paste it here. Wait, wait, wait. This where it's supposed to be. Sorry, okay. So lowest item price, I say equal to minimum. I double click on it, and then I go to, let me scroll this way. Item price, I select the first column. Is that okay? And then I click Control Shift arrow down key to get the remaining range. So having done that, if I come up here, I see what I have. So as you can see, so if you observe, the thing is not showing well because of, it has scrolled to the end here, but I would have clicked empty cell to, okay, let me just click enter first. Okay. So if you observe, okay, if you notice, okay, first of all, what happened here, if you look into the formula we have here, is minimum of the item price column. But because of the nature of Excel table, once you do any calculation on the first cell, the rest will be completed for you. So, but that is not what we are looking for. Assuming this is a sheet, Excel sheet, this particular values you are seeing will not be the same. The reason is because it will apply relative reference as the sell position is changing. So because of that, you will now be seeing different minimum prices. So that is another reason why table is more important. Let's assume you want to do average. Let's say you have the table, or let's say the record of a student's score. I want to take the average of the student's score. If you remember how those sheets used to look like, the average usually constant. So if it is in a table, in a Z table, you will not struggle with those relative reference problem, that it will just be changing, it will not give you the same value throughout. But at this moment, this is not what we need. We don't need the remaining values. We don't need it. So okay, let me just go back. Actually, that's I feel that is the reason we should have used S instead of T. We should have used S instead of T. Okay, let me just do that and see. Okay, let me copy this. Let me copy and paste here. Uh-huh. And then let me delete this column. Delete sheet columns. Delete this result. Okay, let me just delete the result only and not the. So it's gone. So now in ST, if I come up and say, sorry, in T rather, if I come up and now say use the same formula minimum, and I come to item price, I select this, sorry, item price, Control Shift arrow down key. If I go to our cell, I'll scroll up to locate it. So it has selected everything for me, which is the item price column. Now, the same value we got. So this time around, it applied, it applies only for that particular cell. That is because by the time you jump one column, whatever you are doing is no longer is no longer taking the future of a table. Is when you inserted something here close to the next column that it will take the future of a column of an exact table, because it's going to be dynamic. But once you jump one column, it's now like normal sheets. So that is why we just have result for that particular cell, and that is what we are looking for. Now next is a maximum. So I say equal to max, and then I select that is the same item price. I come up here and say Control Shift down. Everything is selected for me. I scroll up to see myself. Scroll up to see myself. How? So if you look into your formula, you have this. So if you click on top of that cell, you see that it simply took item price as the name of the column and then equals to max and all that. Now, lowest 99.1, whereas this is the highest, which is $3,568.27. Now, average item price, I say equal to average. I select average. Later, we're going to talk about the average A, average if, average ifs. That is for the advanced functions. So we select average at the moment, and then we still need the same item price. So we come up here, Control Shift, arrow key down, so it gives us the average of everything. And I scroll up, and I scroll up, and I click enter. So average item price is 3,216.587. So the average is actually a bit close to the highest item price. So It's obvious that this data somehow is skewed when you look at this average. But now, total sales, for us to calculate total sales, total now, you are now using sum function to total everything, to add up everything. So now I say equal to sum, and then I will click, and I go to what? Sales. Sales, that is the item price. So if we total everything in item price, we get the total sales. Control Shift Enter to select the whole range, and then I scroll up to get to the first cell. That is the where my distance is. So if I click Enter, I have the sum. So the sum total is roughly 300. Okay, is it 3 million? Yeah, 3 point something million. Wow, interesting. In dollars. Now, want to look at total profit. Now, we don't have profit column in this. We don't have the profit column. But we have the item cost and the item price. So if we say item price minus item cost, the remaining changes your profit. If you remove what you bought, the item, that is the price you bought it, and then you remove it from the price you sold it, you are left with profit. So we want to now say item price minus cost. Item price minus cost. So we say equal to sum. We would have used sum x, but we're yet to meet that function in the future. So we want to sum the item price. Is that okay? We want to sum the item price first. Let's see whether it will work in one cell. We'll see the item price. Oh, sorry. Um, so I'm going to select it fully and then subtract it from, that is subtract some, sorry, subtract some of what? Item, the item or what? Let's scroll down to see. Let's scroll down. Okay. Let me just click. Control Shift down. So we subtracted, the formula is now containing sum of item price minus sum of item cost. If I click enter, okay, okay. Now the error was there was no bracket at the end. So, but just understand that the formula we entered said sum item price minus sum of what? Item cost. So we are subtracting the item cost from the item price. So by the time we do that, we're able to have the total profit to be 1 point something million, which is about about 1/4 of total profit. So this what I said now, we will get a more detailed information in the next calculation, which is a profit margin ratio. Look at what I mean. Looking at the total sales is $3.8 million. 3.8 million, which is roughly 4. Am I correct? Roughly 4. Now, and then the total profit is $1.5 million. So if we approximate it to 2, that would be a high approximation. Uh, it will be a high assumption. So if you keep it at that 1.5, we discover that it's approximately around 1/4. So we are saying that the profit is around 1/4 of the total sales. So now, but to have a clearer view of the nature of how profitable the business is, you can still do the same thing for a particular product to know how profitable a particular product is. You can now do profit margin ratio. So all whatever we did now is lowest item price, highest item price, average item price, and uh, that's for the average item price. We got 3216, like we saw here. Average item price 3216. There's an instruction which we have not carried out, which is to format the cells to currency and choose 2 decimal places. So if we select all of this and format it to currency, in fact, let me add the last cell. Sorry, this one. So if I should format all of this and call it and format it as currency and make sure that it's in 2 decimal place. Is it in 2 decimal place? Let me say it's actually in 2 decimal place. So I want to cancel it. So remember we did formatting yesterday. So if you're in the yesterday class, you should be able to know that when you highlight any range of cells, you go to the number group under, while you're still on the home tab, select this drop down, you see different formatting. So because we are dealing with money, that is monetary value, so we choose currency. And by default, it's usually 2 decimal place. So by the time you select it, we're able to have all of this. So you can see clearly now, before we were struggling to say, is this 3 million or is it 1 million? But we can see clearly now that the this is 3,863,120.46 dollars, and this is roughly 1.5. So next, um, all of this is what we just completed, and we just did the sales profit, and then the total sales, which we did by summing it up, and of course we formatted it in dollars. We just did all of them now. Now we got the total profit by subtracting total cost from total sales. And then next, now we want to look at the profit margin ratio. Profit margin ratio. Now, profit margin ratio is a value that tells you how profitable your business is going. Somebody can be earning or making sales of $5 million, and another person is making sales of $8 million. Let's say per month. That is our prayer, Sha. Our business will boom. Those of us that are businessmen, and it is part of what data analysis help you to achieve. If you're a businessman, if you know how to analyze data, or if you have a good data analyst, he will be able to point out the problem. If you have record, that is the problem we have in Nigeria. We hardly maintain records. So if it's a company or business that have record with a good data analyst around you, you will not suffer in business. Our people have the problem of, once the business is having problem, they go and look for prophets that will prophesy for them and tell them where somebody buried something. which is not usually true. 99% of those stories are not true. But if you go to white man's land, when they have any confusing something in business, they call the data analyst or a data scientist, and they just give them the data of everything that all the record about the business, and and the data analyst will analyze it and tell you what the problem is. So, business today thrive on the wings of data. Without data, you're going nowhere as a businessman, or you will just go small somewhere and have limitation. But most multi-million or billion-dollar companies we see today, they don't take decisions without consulting a data analyst. That is why it is highly lucrative in advanced countries. And that is the reason many people that want to leave Nigeria, the commonest and even easier, one of the easiest skill they try to carry and go over there is data analysis, because it's very lucrative over there. Well, so I was just trying to say one day we'll be mentioning such profit in our businesses. Amen. Now, so I was saying that somebody making $50 million, that is sales, $50 million sales, and another person making $10 million sales. The person making $5 million sales may be making better profit than the person making $6 million sales. What we tell the truth is this profit margin ratio. So when you calculate the profit margin ratio, you will know if whether in each 5 million sales, whether the person is making up to 50% profit. That is 2.5 million, or up to 60% profit or 70% profit. But the person making $10 million sales may just be making 10% profit. 10% profit out of $10 million sales is just 1 million. Yeah, $1 million. But the person making $5 million sales and is making 2.5 uh, 2.5 million dollar profit is making 50%. So these are what the profit margin ratio helps you to know. And to calculate profit margin ratio, you get the total profit and divide it by the total sales and express it in percentage, because profit margin ratio is always expressed in percentage. So if you are done, you format it as percentage with 0 decimal places. So you don't add any decimal because it's going to be a whole number. So because we have our total sales here and our total profit, so all we just need to get our profit margin ratio is to divide this total profit by the total sales. So this is the value for total profit and this is the value for total sales. So what I just need to do here is say equal to total profit using the division symbol, which is / divide it by the total sales, and I click enter. It tells me $0.4. I click on it and express it as percentage. For me to express it as percentage, all I need is to click on it and go to the same number group for formatting. That is why you're still on home tab, and click on the drop down. Sorry, not there. Sorry, you're not clicking on the drop down. You see percentage here. Just when you get to the number group, you see percentage. So click on it. You will discover that the profit margin ratio is what? 40%. So it means that at every 3 point whatever million dollar that is made in this business, there is 40% profit. There is 40% profit from this, which is a good profit margin ratio, almost 50%. But in every business is not wise, except you are a monopoly. You are the only person in that business. For you to have a high, very high profit margin ratio like 70, 80%, that is too bad. Your business may not survive. People will run away and go to other places. So, but if you are the only one that is offering such services, that's when it's possible that people will not have option. They'll just be patronizing only you. But as competition begin to grow, people will see space to reduce their price to make more sales, and at the end of the day, make more gain than you. So that is that for calculating profit margin ratio. So by the time we get that, we see that our profit margin ratio is 40%, as we have seen. Now, the interpretation of this is that if your profit margin ratio is 25%, it means that for every $100 sales, the business repeats keeps 25% profit. So in this case, now what we got is 40. So at every $100 sales, uh, the business is making 40% profit. So the business is making uh, $40 out of every $100 sales. You sell something of $100, $40 is your gain. It's a good profit margin. It's a good one. Profit margin must not be too high and it shouldn't be too low. If it is too low, you are now suffering, loss or a kind of low efficiency. So, what does this help you to see? It helps you to see efficiency. It is an efficiency indicator. A high profit margin means the company is managing costs well and earning more from its sales. So, pricing it helps your pricing strategy insight. So, low margin may indicate the prices are too low or costs are too high. So when your cost of production or cost of services is too high, definitely your profit margin ratio will be very, very low. Benchmark for investors. So investors often look at profit margin ratio to assess financial health and compare with competitors. So they look at those profit margin ratio to know whether should they reduce their price in order to get more customers or not. Because if you don't look at the profit margin ratio and you reduce your price, then you don't know when you will now start incurring loss because you are looking for more customers. Now, operational performance. It helps you identify if cost saving strategies are working or if there are rooms to improve operation. So if your cost saving is not yet good enough, you will see it if your profit margin ratio is low. But if you are making more money, it means that your cost saving strategy is working. Growth potential, a stable or rising margin shows scalability. So more sales without proportional rise in cost. So if there are more sales and your cost is not increasing, then there is a good indicator of growth. So the summary is that we apply sum for total free margin ratio is the total sales divided by, total profit divided by total sales. Now, I want to look at other Excel functions. Other Excel function like now we have about 12 function categories. We have the text, we have the date and time, we have mass and trick, metry, as I've stated before, statistical, logical, lookup, and reference. Then that is the one that we are going to consider in this course. But the out of scope functions are the financial, queue, engineering, web, information, compatibility, and so on and so forth. So Excel function can work with either cell references, that is using the reference of the cell like A2, B5, there are, and so on and so forth. And it can also work with table references, like when you have your table, your Excel sheet formatted as table. So you convert it to table. So it will just be making reference to the name of the column in that table, the name of the columns in that table. Now, we have static values. So Excel function can also work with static values like a hello. You are inserting a value inside the function as an argument instead of you providing a reference, a cell reference. So take note of this. This is a string. Hello is a string. A string is anything that is not a number. It's a string. Alphanumeric, yeah, string. When we say alphanumeric, we mean a value that is a combination of letters and numbers. They are strings. But now we have numbers like 100. Now, what I'm trying to say you should take note of is whenever you're dealing with string, you must put it in quotation mark as we have it in this case. Have hello in quotation mark, but 100 is not in quotation. So you don't put numbers in quotation mark. But every string you are dealing with in Excel, you put it in quotation mark. Also, when you are combining number with an operator like 100 greater than, you put it in quotation mark. Because that greater than, if you are to write it in word, it is now a string. Is that okay? So, want to see text functions? Text functions. Now, text function are simply the function you use for manipulating text. Number one in the list is the left function, like text. Now, a left function um, needs two arguments. The first is the text argument, that is the text you want to extract something from, and the number of characters you want to extract from it. So what the left function does for you is that it returns the first n characters from a text string. So let's say this text now is containing a string like we see in the example here, data camp. So this is data camp, which is a string you want to extract something from it. Now, the second parameter, which is the norm charts, number of characters, number of characters. So this 4 is saying that you need 4 characters, the first 4 characters. So left is extracting the first n characters. N here in this case is 4. So you need the first 4 characters. So that is why it's called left. That's because you are extracting from the left. So let's say if I copy this now and put it in my Excel, I want to close. Okay, let me still do it here. I'll still close it later. I want to delete this aspect. So if I enter this, it's going to extract the first 4 characters from me, which is DATA, which is what? Data. So if I click enter, you can see what I'm seeing is data. It extracted the first 4 characters for me. That is what left does. Why the right extract the last n characters. So which is the characters at the right, the last n characters. Like in datacam now, if we still say datacam and 4, what the right function will do, it will give us the last 4, P, M, A, C, and you get camp. So if I should copy just this one, and then go to my Excel and execute it, if I should put it here, so you can see it give me camp. What is in the function data camp? And we say right. So, and we want 4 digits. So the last 4 characters, that is the characters at the right, will be extracted for us. So we have camp. I hope that is clear. In fact, I did not even find out if there's any question in those aggregation aspects. I don't know if you have any question. Does anyone that have question in those aggregation parts? Is there any question? If you have a question, please you can indicate or you drop a message in the chat section. Now, In the absence of that, we fire on. So the upper text and lower text simply changes your text. If it is in upper, it will change it to lower for or lower function. For upper function, if it is in lower, it will change it to upper case. For example, we have the word Excel in lowercase. If I should put it inside here, so what is inside is small letter Excel. Remember, it is a string, so that's why it's in quotation mark. And I use upper function on it, it will just automatically appear as what? Uppercase. Then if I do the same thing for lower, so equal to, and let's say I have Excel now in uppercase, but I want it to appear in lower. I say copy. I copy this and put inside here. I have Excel lower. But what is inside is what? Excel in uppercase. So if I say lower, lower function will just make it to be in the lowercase as we have here. Next, we have the date and time function. The date function is used to combine year, month, day to return a date. For example, we have year 2025 and 6th month and 19th day. So I can use date to formulate, I can use date to formulate functions. You can use it to formulate function, to formulate a date. So what is inside? What is inside is what? 25, 6, and 19. So it has successfully created for me 6th of, the 19th of June 2025 as a date. If you look at the formats, that is the number format. If you look at it here, you see that it is a date because we use the date function. So it converted whatever we have there to date. 19th, okay, sorry, yes, June 2025. Now, the day function helps you to extract day as number, the day as number from the date. So, day takes in date arguments. Likewise, the year takes in date argument and extracts the year for you from the date you supplied. So now in the same example we have, if you should do this, if you should do this, you can see what is inside is what? The date that is supplied is 2025, that is the 19th June 2025. But now the day function extracted just the day, which is what? 19. Likewise, the year will give you, okay, let me just change the day here in this function from day to year, and it will do the magic for us. So this is the year, and click enter. Year of the date that I've provided. So that is that for the day and year. The math and trigonometry function here we want to consider is round. Numbers to a given number of digits. For instance, now I want to round up, and the second argument is how many digits you want to round it up. In this case, we indicated 2. So if I say 0.475 to 2 decimal place, so it will just round it up this way, and I'll be left with 1.48. If you remember, approximately. So it will make it to be 1.48 because we indicated that you should round it in 2 The first argument is this, which is now separating the second argument by what? Comma. So if I should execute this, if I should, it will automatically return for us what I've just said. So what is inside is 1.475. But because we applied round to it and we say we need two decimal places, it is now giving us 1 point. It's because the original number is having minus, 7 minus. Next, we have the round up slash round down. So round does for you round automatically, but round up always rounds up. You know, if you remember in how numbers are round up, for instance, now in this 1.475, and we're rounding in two decimal place, 7 is above 5. I mean, sorry, 5. And it once the number next to 7 is round up. For round up function or round down, whether it is above or below, it will round up if you're using round up, and it will round down if you're using round down. So now in this place now we did 1.4 minus 1.475 round, and it rounded up. Let us use round down for it. So, and see, it will just round it down for you. Let this down, round down. Now you can see it gave us 1.47. So despite that, the value what is supposed to be rounded up, because I say round down, whether I will to round it down for you. So that's why I say it will always round down, will always round down. Now, if you look at 1.475, and I want to round to whole number, I want to round to whole number. If I should this again, let me just copy it and put it in another cell. Let me put it here. If I should use round and then remove this 2 and put 0 instead, it will simply round to whole number, which is -1. And that is the correct thing, because 1.4, 4 is less than 5, so it will round down. But if I use up on it instead of round, instead of 1 that is going to give me, it will give me something else, which is 2. If I click enter, you see it gave me 2. So despite the fact that 4 is below 5, but I use round it up for me. So there are cases where you will need your numbers, where you want everything to be rounded up, you use round up. Where you want everything to be rounded down, you use round down. But when you want approximation logic to be applied, then you use round. Next is absolute, ABS. So absolute return the absolute value. If you say, simply saying that it should give you the positive value of whatever that is inside the absolute as the parameter, or inside the supplied as the parameter in the absolute function. So if I show now, it will just return for me 2. So it will take away the minus. That's what absolute does. It just gives you render the value and make it positive. Whatever it is, it will return positive for you. So if I put this now, you see. But what was inside is what? -2. -2. So this our value now. If we should put absolute here and use it to encapsulate the random function by saying apps I select apps, and then I need another bracket to close it up completely. I press this. So whatever that is result of the roundup, I need the absolute value of it. Before the result was minus what? 2. So if I click enter now, absolute will return that minus 2 as 2 for me. So that was the absolute does. Absolute takes what the absolute value, which is represented as ABS, as the absolute function. And which we are using will not demonstrate that one, sum up a range. While the statistics function which we have used, average, count, mean, max, and so on and so forth. So this is summary table. We want to look at a few exercises and before we call it a day for today. Um, I wish we entered into the next notes, but just see how to be faster in the next class and eliminate some of this. But we just continue anyway. We did wait is in data account. Now, product profiles. Product profiles. Hope we are following. Hope we are following. Now, product profile is the name of this exercise. And what we want to do is that I want to transform, extract, and create. So we want to transform some things from lowercase to uppercase, from uppercase to lowercase. So we want to say that in data analytics, data is not always clean or formatted the way we want it. So we often need to either transform, change from lowercase to uppercase, or extract. We want to extract some part of a string. We want to create new field like we did in creating a new calculated column for profit. So you can decide to create maybe other column using concatenation, using split, using extract, like left, right, and so on and so forth. So in this lesson, we want to focus on preparing a clean and structured product profile table using Excel formulas. So we need the uh, Excel file 31 products. I want to close this one. I don't want to save. Click on save. And I come to actually what we have been doing is the summarizing, calculating sales and profit, and the chapter solution. So what we need now is this the products profile. I wish we can cover up to formatting with function. So the next class we treat everything about this remaining one and go to the next course in introduction to fundamentals of Excel. Now, I click on a product profile, sorry, to open it. And so what we need now is I want to create a new column called country and make it to be in uppercase. So we want to convert all values in the customer country column to uppercase. So, but the name of that column will be what? Country. Country. So we insert a new column between L and M. That is that is and name it country. A new column between L and M. Let me maximize. This is L, customer country and product. So want that new column to be after customer country. So I want to insert. I go to insert. You can even right click on it and say insert, and it will just insert column here to you for you. Now it called it column one. I can double click and rename it and say, oh, let me delete and rename it with country. That we were told to rename it as country. Now, next, um, The instruction is that we want to convert everything in customer country to uppercase as the values for this country column. So I say equal to upper, and I click here and click enter. So want everything in this. So once I click enter, of course, because this is a Excel table, if I click enter, it will do the rest for me. But if it's in Excel sheet, I need to just autofill. So I click enter and see every other thing is converted to capital letters. So sometimes for readability, you may decide to format your or transform your text to capital letters we have seen. So this instruction is when your file is not in Excel table. Now, I want to also create a new column called order ID, which is the last five digits for order number. So we go to A, in between A and B, because A is the order number, and then create a column after it and call it order ID. So this is our order number. So I want to insert a column by saying right clicking on sales order and click insert. So I'll have a column right after the order number. And I want to call it order ID as we were told. Now we want to extract, if you notice the numbers here is 5 digits, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we want to extract the last 5 digits. So what are we going to use when you are trying to extract the last n digits? You say equals to right. So right function. I select right function, and I select what is inside here. Is that okay? And I put comma and say 5. I need the first 5, the last 5 digits, which are the numbers that is in that order number. So we want to use it as order ID. We click enter, it gives us extract all the first 5 numbers. I mean the last 5 numbers in order number, and we have created a column called order ID with the last 5 numbers in order number. So that is that. Next, so but we want to, because it's an ID, we want to format it as general. So in this place, we are told to format it as general. So it's already as general. So we want to have it so. So general means not a text or number. Now, function we use is right, as we have seen. Now the question is for order ID 4369, what is the name of the customer? You will see that is Rachel Martinez. Order ID 4369, let us check. Order ID 4369 what? 43698. This is 43698. So the name is what? Rachel Martinez. So if you are in data camp, if you have access to data camp, you go, all these things we have been doing, you complete the exercises, and in fact, if you are doing what we have been doing, you don't need to go on there. You just go and click next, 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 and insert the answer, and your progress will be counting for you. Now, we want to now do the last thing and call it a day for today, which is profit performance. Profit performance want to use want to extract year and month from a date using Excel function. Want to prepare the data for time-based analysis, so I can see profit performance based on maybe months or year, as the case may be, and perform filtering to calculate conditional averages and all that. So why does this matter? We need it in business analysis. In business analysis, the time-based reporting is critical. Stakeholders often need to compare performance by month or year, understand seasonal trends, group data over time period for reporting. So this information like this will help you to identify the months or the year that your business is performing well. And with the help of a good data analyst, you should be able to identify why is their performance is also period of the month, of the year or month. So that is the essence of profit performance analysis based on time. So what we want to do, we need the file 3_2. That is this one. Let me close this one first. Don't need this one anymore. Even though it's a continuation of what we want to open now, but I usually prefer opening the next. So, um, so now the instruction we have here. Let me minimize this. The instruction we have here says, where are we? Okay. Now, we want to extract the year from other dates. Year from other dates. All we need to do that is the year function. All we need is the year function. So in the first row, assuming headers are row one, we enter the formula like this. So, but before then, we must have inserted a column next to the other dates. Next to the other dates. Take note, please. So let's quickly do that. And then in that column, we use year to extract the year, the other year. But let me copy this. And so, because that's the name of the column. So we insert a column next to the other dates. So this is the other dates. So I insert a column in front of it by right clicking on that column next to it and click insert. So other dates, and this is the column. So I want to call it based on instruction we have is a other year. So I want to extract year from it. So I say equal to year. I select the year function and select this date as the parameter and the argument we want to insert there and click enter. Uh, Something is fishy. What did I type? It's giving us different results. Okay, let me format as number first and see what happens. Oh, so by the time we format it as number, it gives us exactly what we want. But you need to highlight the whole columns, the whole column, and make sure it's in number, and make sure it's in zero decimal. So we have the other year, other year. Now, now we have the other column. Sorry, we want to add another column, other months. So we want to extract the month number, like one for January, 9 for September, from the same other date. So we want to insert the next, we want to insert a column next to the other year. So after this other year, we need a column. So I right click and click insert. So we have a column here now, and we want to call it what? Want to call it other other months. order month. So that is instruction. Name it order month. Let me just copy from here instead of from the other color formatting. So I click and then rename it this one to order month. So as I have the order month, I can now extract using the month function. The month function. And which argument am I going to provide for the month function? I say equal to month. This is month function. And the argument I need is the dates. I click enter. Excuse me. I mistakenly pressed backward slash. So I click enter. It gives me the month number. Of course, all of this part is the seventh month. All of this part is the seventh month. And then eighth month, ninth month, 10th month, 11th month. Then click you. Please give chance. 10th month, 11th, and then the 12th, and all that and all that. So I'll be 12 months. And that is the last. So our physical year, when I mean physical, I don't mean physical. I don't mean like as invisible. I mean fiscal, FISCAL. Fiscal year in this company, based on this data, is simply running from the seventh month to the 12th month. Even though it's not, this might not be a complete asset. So we have gotten the other months. Now, we want to analyze average cost for September orders. So to do that, we can just filter this September and then take the subtotal of September, and that is all. So September is the ninth month. Click on the drop down arrow on the other month column, and then on select all and select only September, which is the ninth, and click OK. And you have only the ninth month. And if you come under it and say equal to sum, it will give you, that is sum of everything. Sum of everything. Oh, sorry. We are not getting what we is. What we are looking for is average item cost for order placed in September. So it's not the other month that we are averaging. So we go to. I want to delete this. I want to delete this. So I delete it and go to the item costs, which is this. Okay. So because we filtered the September, which is ninth month, so every other thing we are seeing in this data set is simply the ninth month. So all others is now, hidden, kind of not, they are there but not removed. It's not, you are not seeing but it's not removed. So, but what we are operating with at the moment is only for the month of October. So, we want to now take the average item cost for the month of October. So, I can just come under, let me scroll down. Good, good. So, under that item cost, I can just say equal to sum. I can now, in fact, I can, let's say, Control Shift arrow key up, but I want to eliminate the header. I want to eliminate the header. So I want to change E1 to E2 so that the header will not be included because we don't need the header in this calculation. The header is the E1. You can see the header is E1. So we're starting from E2. So that's why we selected from E2 to E6, 10. But another thing you can do is just to say item, it's only item price that is showing. I don't know why. But you can just come here and select this. Sorry. So I just want to do the same thing now. The item cost, control shift down, control shift down. So it will just select only from that cell. Oh, what's going on? I'm seeing cell 450. No, that's not what I need. Let me go over it again. Item cost, control shift down. Are you sure? Let's click enter. There are one more circle reference with blah blah blah. That is a wrong information. So what we need is from from E2 to E610. But from E2 to E610. That's what we need. This man is proving stubborn. Okay. Okay. I'm sorry. Actually, that is what it should be. I've forgotten that we filtered our data. So, other month 9 started from 450. So, please, I beg your pardon. It escaped my mind. So, I click enter. So, this is the total. But, yeah. So, so that is, but what we are looking for is the average item cost. So we could have used average, but that is not an issue because this is an Excel table. You can simply click the drop down arrow. Click the drop down arrow and press select average. So it will convert it to average. So the average item cost for the month of September is $1.9. Sorry, I say 1.1908. $1,908. That is the average. So, what is left here? Formatting with function. Okay, let's, of course, the answer to this question, what is it again? Average item cost in September, yes, 1,908, that's what we got. Now, formatting with functions. Formatting with functions. I believe we are still together. Formatting with functions. This is not 831. I wanted to finish this particular stuff. So you can do round up and round down to clean up and represent and present numerical data more clearly. Format summary statistics to make report easier to read. So Excel provides functions like round up, round down, and so on and so forth. And round, like we have explained what round up does. Round up everything for you, no matter it doesn't apply approximation logic. Or and then round down doesn't apply approximation logic, it run down whatsoever. But then round is what does the normal approximation logic. So we want to open workbook 3. I just want to finish this exercise before we go. I close this, don't save. 3. So in next class we'll continue with visualization. So 3, excuse me. So this is the 3 workbook. I want to now we want to unify the data. So before proceeding, we'll remove any filter applied in the previous exercise, like the filter of 9, blah blah blah. So to make sure you clear all filters, just come to clear. Okay, that's better still. Go to sort and filter. Go to sort and filter, and then select clear here. So all your filter that I have applied will disappear. So your data set begin from 1 now. That is from the first record. So now we locate summary statistics. Look for the following existing values. Lowest item price assumed to be in column T, starting from this, that. Lowest item price, highest item price, average item price, and so on and so forth. So we want to apply a round function to them. So for the we want to round up the lowest item price to 0 decimal place. I mean to 0 digits. That is, when you impute 0 as the second parameter, you're simply saying that you want it as a whole number. So you're rounding to 0 decimal places. So round up. So you are forcing it to round up, not applying the approximation logic. So we look at item, uh, lowest item price, which is at the extreme end. Oh, this is it. Lowest item price. I can now come to the next cell here and say, sorry, what did they say we should do? Round up, right? I say round up, round up. I insert the lowest item price, and that should be to whole number, that is 0 decimal place. I click enter, it gives me 700, so it forces it up. And then highest item price, I want it to be, we are told to make it to round up also to 0 decimal place, highest item price. So I come here to, I say round up, and I insert this and say comma 0, and click enter, it gives out 3,579. And then the average item price, want to give it 1 decimal place. Normal round function, which applies the approximation logic. So I say equal to, sorry, average is equal to round, and I select this, and I select the value for the average item price and put 1. So we need it to be in 1 decimal place. So we can see it rounded up to the first decimal place. From 59, it rounded it up to 60. And why we are having 0 is because these particular cells are formatted to be into decimal place. So it will round it up, and the remaining part of it will be 0. Now, tip: after entering formulas, press enter and format cells as currency, which is optional to maintain clarity. So you can do that by just select all of this. Sorry, by selecting all of this, and then just, okay, it's already as currency, so we don't need that. It's already as currency. Now, The functions we use here is round number, round up, and then round, and then round down, and so on and so forth. So the round up when prices occur should never be underestimated. Use round up. So when shouldn't be underestimated, use round up. Now the round, when you want to present data in balanced, readable format. This practice makes dashboard reports, summaries cleaner, more effective for decision making. So the question now is, what is the lowest item price? It is now rounded up to 700, which is what we have here, 700. I believe that is clear. I don't know if there is question. Okay. In absence of that, we'll meet in the next class, which is next week, Friday. See you in the next class. God bless you. Good night.
Recording has stopped.